Hi, it's Andy, and I got another Android tutorial. Today, we're going to talk about the ParseQueryAdapter. In my last tutorial, I showed you how to use the parse query to grab some data from the cloud and display it in a list. Um, I'm changing it up a little bit today. We're going to do a bunch of different categories. So we're going to split up the animals by the type. Um, we're going to we have their name, the type of animal they are, what type of breed they are, and we're also going to be uploading a photo. And this is going to be the idea of the app is going to do like a pet store inventory app. So like, oh, come see our pets, and you have like all the pets with their names and their breed. And we're going to divide it up into a ViewPager where each fragment is of the individual types. So I'm almost done with the online database. We just need to upload all the pictures. So I'll show you how to do one, and then I'm gonna pause the video, upload the rest of them, and then go over the code and run the app. Okay, so here's how you upload a file. There's a real easy way. Is if you double click on a table where you or a column where you specify the file type as a file instead of a string or a date or anything like that, you can double click it and then it'll pull up this upload file where you can then let's see, we need to go into my downloads and pet store app. Okay, so this was for Blue, which is Blue McCall. So we'll upload that, and you're done. One thing you need to make sure is that you leave the file extension, because this will let Parse.com know how to handle the type of file. Like you're not limited to photos. You can do any file type really, because when you're pulling it, you can pull it as the byte array and then convert that into any file type that you need. So I'm using this in another app as an XML database. I can store that and then parse it and write it to a SQLite database. So, but the usual use for the file is actually for a photo, and that's where most of the examples are. So I'm going to get to uploading the rest of the photos onto the database, and then we're going to show you the app how to pull all the items and separate them out into individual fragments for each category. And it's pretty simple. It's very little code. So this shouldn't be a very long tutorial once I'm finished doing this. So hang tight and I'll get the rest. Okay, so now I've finished uploading all the pictures into the database. I'm going to go over the code now. So let's pull up our example. We are going to have just a main activity and then a page fragment. Also, I've created a special layout for each item in the list view. So this is what we're going to look like. We're going to have an image, a little bar over the bottom part of the image with some text inside of it for the pet name, and then if is a breed, it'll be on the bottom below the image in like a little gray box. So that's the general idea of what we're going to look like. We'll have a little pager title strip on the top with each category. Let me show you what the ViewPager is set up. It's pretty easy. I think it's activity main. Okay, so we have our ViewPager with a blue title strip with some white text on the top, and we're going to swipe through each individual page. We're going to grab all of the different types of animals we have: birds, cats, dogs, fish, and reptiles. So those will each be their individual page, and we're going to capture all of the items and then display them out into the individual pages. So this is the code to set up the ViewPager and the PagerTitleStrip. Now, the cool thing about the PagerTitleStrip is we're done. Once we implement this, the only thing we have to do to actually set the text is with the Fragment PagerAdapter is override a char sequence for get page title, and we're going to be putting the individual items into the pages. So here's the main activity. We're going to set up our ViewPager. So here's our ViewPager, and then we need to set up a ViewPager, a Fragment PagerAdapter, which is real easy to do. That's this code right here, where you have to override get item and get counts. And now the third overrided method for the get page titled, because we're going to be putting the types of animals as the titles for each page. Alright, and don't forget the constructor method as well. This is we're all going to be using the support library for this. So you have to make sure that your fragment that you're going to be using is also a support fragment, or else it won't work. Okay, so we've set up our pager adapter. Now we need to get a list of the type of animals. And what I did is in the browser I actually set up a different class called pet types with all the 5 different types of pets. You can actually reference another table from here. Like I could have, oh, you know what, I didn't finish doing all the animals. So I'll do that actually real quick. Hang on one second. Okay, so I had 25 and I had set the page limit to 20, so that's why I hadn't noticed that I had more items. So don't forget to, increase your items per page. If you have more than 20 items, the default will hide them. Okay, so I have the pet types. We could have referenced them from database to database, but we're only dealing with 5 different types of animals here. So what I did is I made each one make sure that they match up exactly to this list. So birds is birds, fish is fish, reptiles is reptiles, all spelled exactly the same. And we're going to actually filter this out for the individual pages. So let's go back into the activity. So we're going to take a list of types, and we need to add each type to this list. So we need to grab a parse query and query pet types, that separate table that I've created, where now I'm also going to sort the pages that we have in ascending order. So it'll start off with birds and end with reptiles. We're going to find them in the background, and then once we're done parsing all the objects, we are going to add them to this list. So string pet type equals type.getString. And that's this. If we go back into the browser, that's this table here. We have type. So we're referring specifically to this type, and we're going to put it in this order exactly like you see it here. So we're going to add that to this list, and then we're going to set our adapter, because we don't want to set our adapter before we get this, before we're done parsing it, because then we haven't made the network call and downloaded the different types, so it'll actually end up showing up empty. So once we've finished grabbing the data, then we'll set the adapter, and that'll set the pages for the individual pages. This all happens very quick since we're dealing with just text, so we don't have to worry too much about this taking a very long time. It all happens in a background thread anyway, so it's not going to hang up our UI, but we also can't set our UI until we have that data, so that's why we're setting up the adapter afterwards. Okay, so we already talked about the ViewPager fragment, but now we have to talk about how we're going to set up the individual pages. So we need to find out how many pages we're going to we have. So we're going to grab this list, this types. We're going to find out how many there are, and set that to how many pages we need to make. So in this case, it'll be 5. Now this is all dynamically added, so in the future you can just make a change to the database and then it'll automatically show up with your app. You don't have to update your app, and that's the goal. That's the whole reason why we're doing a network side database, is so we don't have to update the app every single time we want to make a change. Alright, so our page fragment, which I haven't gone into yet, we're going to create them dynamically, and then we're also passing in some data. This create is a method that we've created in here, but we need to pass on the position and then the type. So each fragment is going to grab the data from the server, but only the data that they need. So we're going to filter out the type, so we need to pass in the type. So what we're grabbing in here is the individual string for the type. So birds, dogs, cats, all that stuff. We're passing into each individual fragment, and then the fragment's going to handle that in the ParseQueryAdapter for each fragment, and we're going to grab some stuff. So our page fragment is actually pretty simple. This is that method that we're creating, that we're calling in main activity to create the page fragment. So what we're doing is we're creating a bundle that we're going to pass into this fragment from that main activity. We're going to pass in our page and our string that we're going to filter, which is going to be the type. And so then we're going to create the new fragment for each individual page, and then pass in that bundle. And then when we call onCreate, we're going to get the argument for the type. Now we reference it out here so that we can send it to the adapter that we've also kept on the same page here. So I'll talk about the ParseQueryAdapter in a little bit. So let's call our onCreate view. So this is just going to be a simple list that we're so if we pull up page fragment here, it's just a list view. Then we're gonna set up our adapter, which is going to be this custom ParseQueryAdapter. Since we need to do a custom one because we're overriding the views, because the typical ParseQueryAdapter has a view built in with a parse image and just a simple text view. But we're having 2 text views, and we're also changing the way it looks so it'll be a little bit nicer looking. If you wanted like a reference on what the original ParseQueryAdapter view looks like, it looks kind of like a contacts list where you have a small little icon on the left hand side and then like a text to the right of it. So it's like your picture of your person and then the person's name. That's kind of what the view would look like for the ParseQueryAdapter, the default view. Then we're going to set our adapter and then load the objects. So what this method here will load all the objects in the background pretty easily, which is nice because the individual picture files need to be downloaded and then set afterwards, because it's going to take a little bit longer to grab the images than it is going to be the text. So so we don't have a hang up on the UI thread. It knows automatically that when you have an image, we're going to load that separately from the text because it's going to take a little bit longer. So it's all done for us. So here's our ParseQueryAdapter. We have our constructor thread. which calls a new query factory, and I'm passing in this object pets. Now I had mentioned this in the last tutorial, but I added the get photo to it, so we're no longer we'll be calling this this method at all, because we've created a new layout with a picture and two different text views, so we don't really need this anymore. However, it's still referenced in a different activity, so we'll get errors if I delete that right now. But we need to grab the photo, and so to do that, we have to say we have to specify the getter for it, which is a parse file, and then we need to call return get parse file parse photo, or pet photo, and that pet photo is the table name that I've created for the pets. So if we go in here, pet photo, it matches exactly with this text right here. So nice thing is we don't actually need to know the individual names for these. We're just grabbing whatever is there. We're going to get the name of it and automatically set that as the image. So we're actually not, we don't have to write anything to get the name. The ParseQueryAdapter does all that for us. So let's go back into that ParseQueryAdapter. So we're overriding get item view, and these are you know, if the view is null, you know, then we need to inflate the view, and we're inflating this new layout that we've created, which is pets with photo. So this is what you have to override specifically to create a new custom layout for your photo. So we need to then get the item view. For the image, we have to grab it from the server. So parse image view, which is the pet image. This is the view specifically that for that pet image. And I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but it is a parse image view and not a regular image view. It probably doesn't matter, but I'm using it because just in case there's some special thing that it does with the parse image view for load in background. I don't know. If you're going to use the parse image parse file, just use the parse image view. It works exactly the same as an image view to use. So you can set all the same parameters because it actually extends the image view class. All right, so then we have to get the photo. So it's calling the pet get photo method. So we're going to grab that file from the server. And if it's not null, so if there is an image file, we're going to then set the image to that image and then load it in the background so we don't hang up the UI thread. Now for the other text views, it's pretty simple. Grab the text, set the text. Grab the text, set the text. So here's for our pet name, and get the pet name. For our breed, and set the pet breed. So let's see what this looks like. So we're going to run this on the emulator right now. Okay, see how the images are kind of loading up in the background, which is awesome. It doesn't hang up our UI thread. Once it's got the image and it's ready to display it, it displays it. So we got our little semi-transparent background for our text, something that we can definitely put white text on and it be visible. We can make it darker or lighter if we wanted to, just by changing the alpha in this. So that's this background view. We can set the alpha to 7 and make it a little bit darker if we wanted to. See how I made it a little bit darker. So here are our birds. When we swipe to the right, we got our cats. And then our dogs. Now, ideally, we would want to set our pictures to a defined size. It'll be, something that'll look a little bit better. I just did a dirty grab and and push. So I didn't do any kind of image editing. I just grabbed these images from Google and then uploaded them. And so it's a pretty easy example. If we wanted to make a new category or split up these reptiles into, snakes and lizards, we could totally do that without having to update our app. So that's pretty cool that we can actually do everything now on from the web browser and don't have to worry about which version your user is currently on. So if you like this tutorial, let me know. I'll be publishing the source code to this in a little bit. So the methods you'll need are this pets, main activity, or sorry, the classes you'll need are pets, main activity, and page fragment. That's all it is to this entire app. And the two layouts are your activity main, pets with photo, which is the individual item, which we have posted here, and our page fragment, which is just a list view. Alrighty, so let me know what you think in the comments. Have a good day.